Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar on DOS, that is denial of service. Let me introduce myself before starting this webinar. My name is Shreyans Khanna. I am working as a senior instructor in the field of cybersecurity. I have 9 years of experience in training and development, that too in cybersecurity field. I have several professional certifications including CEH, CEI, ECSA Security Plus and many more. So in this DOS session, today we'll learn about these following topics, that is overview of DOS, understanding CIA model, understanding different DOS and DDoS attacks, understanding botnet network, and understanding various DOS and DDoS tools. So if I talk about denial of service is an attack that is used to deny legitimate user access to a resource. Now what exactly it means? When we talk about legitimate means that if I have a user and if that user is legitimate, that user is officially, he or she can access the resource. In that case, we'll call that customer or a user as a legitimate user if you have a right to access that information. So whenever as a attacker or as a hacker, when attacker wants that the legitimate user should not access the resource or somehow it restricts the user to access the proper information, in that case DOS is performed. Now whenever we talk about DOS attack, it basically slow down the website, it slow down the network servers, it slow down the email servers, and it makes extremely slow and it makes extremely irritating for the customer to access the resource. Now what exactly the use and why hacker do these things? So the major thing that makes DOS attack a successful attacks and why the hacker do these things is because of business intelligence, or you can say when they want to make sure that the business should suffer of the customer, or at the end of the day when they want that they should have a loss in business. That is why these DOS attacks are performed. Now in this attack, it is usually implemented by hitting the target resource such as web server with too many requests at the same time. Now what happens is, if you can refer this image, there is one system, there is one computer, or you can say one attacker machine is there. That machine will start the attack and it will attack the server with unlimited number of requests. Now these requests are not legitimate, these are not official requests from the customers, they are fake. Because of these too many requests, the server hangs and the people who actually wants the resource, they'll not get that resource. This is what we call as a denial of service attack. Now if I show you the statistics, what is the biggest DOS till now? It's 1.3 Tbps. Now you can imagine the power of a DOS attack. And we also know that the servers in this era can, or you can say may or may not handle this kind of a huge attack. So in 2015, it was 309 Tbps of power in that attack. In 2016, it was 623 Tbps. In 2017, it was 120 Tbps. And in 2018, it was 1.3 Tbps. And if you read this, attacker greater than 300 Gbps occurs more frequently. So now you can imagine the power of a DOS attack. All right, let's understand denial of service in more detail with this image. So now if you refer this image, there is an attacker and there are group of systems and there also are the group of systems. These are called as botnets and zombies. Now what exactly the attacker is going to do? Attacker will actually control these botnets and zombies and make sure that this attack will be a powerful attack. Now how come it will be a powerful attack? Let's take a real-time scenario. If I have to do a project or if I have to perform a task, if I'll perform this task, it will be little bit tedious and it will take a lot of time to complete that task. So what I'll do, I'll call my colleagues, I'll call my teammates to make sure they're gonna help me. Once they're gonna help me, the power of that task or the power that we're gonna put in to complete that task will be obviously high, because now not this single, there are multiple users or multiple people are working on the same project or the task. Same way, if I talk about this image, the attacker is using botnets and zombies. We'll discuss botnets and zombies in later topics. So we have to understand that in total there are six systems are involved to attack a single target server. So now you can imagine the power that we're gonna put in, or the hacker gonna put in to attack this server with DOS. All right, I told you that basically when the hacker do DOS attacks or DOS attack happens, just because to make sure that the availability goes down. Now, when we talk about availability, before availability, we have to understand there is a model called as CIA model in information security. C means confidentiality, I means integrity, and A means availability. This is a combination of three terminologies, and after learning this, we're going to understand why hackers generally do DOS attack. So now let's understand the first term, which is called as confidentiality. So if you can refer the image, it's information kept private and secure. So what exactly it means? Now in real life, if I talk about confidentiality, confidentiality means if I'm passing a message from A to B, or if two people are talking, they want their communication to be confidential. They want to keep it private and secure. But let's say someone tries to listen their conversation, or someone try to get into their conversation and try to hear what exactly they are talking about. So what will happen in this case? Their confidentiality breaks down. So what we're going to do to help this? So basically, whenever you want that your information is private or secure, we use encryption in information security in order to make sure the conversation or the message that are getting passed from one machine to another, they are private and secure. So now confidentiality refers to the same. The data or information which is highly confidential should be available to those who are allowed to have access to it. So the meaning is, I hope the meaning is clear, that basically to keep things private and secure. There are various methods through which you can make sure the confidentiality is there. First is data encryption. Second is use of user IDs and passwords. Two-factor authentication, biometric verification, and ACLs, that is access control list. These all things make sure that your data is private and secure. Next is integrity. Now let's take a real life example. If we understand integrity, let's say my data which is getting passed from A machine to B machine, or if A machine is passing some data to B machine, they are doing encryption. Means that data is confidential and secure and it is private. Nobody can see that data. Nobody will able to understand that data. Now, one part is that the hacker will not able to understand what is written because of encryption. But what do you think, what else the hacker can do? If let's say I'm the hacker, I'm not able to understand what is written, but what I can do with that data if I have the access. So what we're going to do, I can easily change that data because I cannot read that data. So due to frustration or due to make sure I have to do something with that data, I'll make sure that meaning of that data will change. This is what loss of integrity means. So integrity means originality of information should be kept private and secure. But in this case, which example I've given you, it is actually a loss of integrity. So how we can save or how we can secure integrity? By using hashing. Now, I hope you know hashing. If not, I'll just give you a one line definition for this. Hashing actually means creating a hash, a fixed length hash code of a given message. And that message is not reversible. So it makes sure that your data is secure and it cannot be changed. All right. Next, availability. Now, availability means that data should be available whenever it is required by the legitimate user. If you remember in previous slides, when I was discussing DOS, there I told you that the information which is required, whenever it is required by the legitimate user, it should be available. Now, in case of DOS, this is where the hacker attack on the availability factor. Now, when we talk about availability, it means that the information and resources should be available when needed. It invokes that information should be available to authorized person whenever it is required. The meaning is same, that the data should be available. Now, what happens is whenever the hacker performs DOS attack on the server, let's say I have a website on the server which is already installed. Now, if my customer is trying to do some online transfer of money, or if he or she is trying to make payment for the product that they have purchased from my website, they will not able to do that. Why? Because the hacker has done DOS attack, and because of DOS attack, the website will go down or the server will go down, and the legitimate and or you can say authorized customer will not be able to take my resources, or he or she will not be able to make payments. Now, if they will not able to make payments at the end of the day, who is in loss? Obviously, I am in the loss. Why? Because I am the business owner. So if I'm not able to give services to my customer, it is actually a loss of reputation and loss of business. This is what the major goal of the attacker. I hope with this you get an idea what exactly DOS is and what are the intentions of hackers when they want to perform this DOS activity. Now, in nutshell, if I explain you what exactly CIA is, what we have learned in previous slide is that confidentiality, what is the risk involved with the confidentiality is loss of privacy, unauthorized access to the information, and identity theft. And what are the control measures, which is very important to understand, because at the end of the day, if you're working in cybersecurity field or information security, you have to make sure your data is secure. So the first parameter is confidentiality, and how you gonna control this? I already told you using encryption. What encryption will make sure? Encryption will make sure that data that is getting passed or data that is in flow will be encrypted, and it is not being able to, the hacker will not be able to understand the data, what is written there. Next is integrity. Integrity, I already told you that information is no longer reliable, that the hacker changed the original meaning of that information. How to control that? By first is quality assurance, audit logs, and hashing. And I hope now hashing is clear to you. Creating a hash out of a complete text, which is irreversible. Last is availability, which means business disruption, loss of customers' confidence, loss of revenue. How to control that? That is by backup storage, by putting sufficient capacity to make sure you have balanced load balancers on the server, so that your server will able to actually handle so many requests which is coming from the hacker side. They are not legitimate users. This is actually the fake request. I hope now CIA model is clear to you. Now let's move to the next topic, that is called as DOS and DDoS. Now I hope you have heard the term DOS and DDoS before in your career, or maybe somewhere you have read this. Now there is a good amount of difference between DOS and DDoS. If I refer the previous slide, you can see when I was talking about DOS, that is denial of service, there was one machine attacking the server. Means the hacker is using one machine to attack the server by sending unlimited number of requests through that machine. Now in same way, if I talk about DDoS, denial of service is a distributed, or you can say DOS or DDoS is a short for distributed denial of service. DDoS is a type of DOS attack where multiple compromised systems, which are often infected with a Trojan, are used to target single system, causing a denial of service attack. Now basically, what exactly DDoS attack is? DDoS means distributed denial of service. Now distributed means that the hacker will use multiple systems, in fact infect those multiple systems, and make sure the hacker can control those machines. Now when the machines are in control of your attacker will use all the power of all the machines to attack one server or a single victim. At the end of the day, after attacking that machine or server or any resource, that will go down for sure. Why? Because this time your attack was very powerful. Powerful in terms of, because there were multiple machines involved, multiple zombies involved in that attack. That is what you mean by DDoS, that is distributed denial of service. So distributed denial of service requires an attacker to gain control of a network of online machines in order to carry out an attack. Computers and other machines are infected with malware, turning each one into a bot, which is a zombie. The attacker then has a control or a remote control over the group of bots, which is called as botnet. So what exactly zombie and botnet is? They both are same, that is almost same, you can say. That is compromised machine, a machine which is compromised by infecting with the malware, and at the end of the day, attacker can control or remotely control those machines from one single machine, and those machines will be involved to attack a single victim or any server, you can say. Now there are many different type of DDoS attacks. Some common attacks are, first is traffic attack. Traffic flooding attack sends a huge volume of TCP, UDP and ICMP packets to the target. Now, what exactly traffic attack means? Now we know that whenever we talk about cyber, or you can say internet basically means that machines are connected and traffic is going on and traffic is accessing that web resource basically, right? So let's say there is a resource or there is a website www.google.com, let's say, or www.example.com. Whenever a particular user wants to access that website, what exactly the customer will do or a user will do? They will type www.example.com or google.com. They'll press enter and at the end they'll get the resource. When one person, two person, 10 or 1,000 people access the same resource, we can say the amount of traffic is increasing. Why? Because number of people accessing that website is increasing back to back. So in this attack, we'll do the same thing. We have a web resource, we have a web server, or we have a victim. We'll send a huge amount of volume traffic towards that resource and make sure the server or that resource will not able to handle that amount of traffic. And because of that traffic, because of that huge traffic, the server will go down and the resource will not be available or will not be accessible by the legitimate customer or user. Next is bandwidth attack. This DDoS attack overloads the target with massive amount of junk data. This result in a loss of network bandwidth and equipment resources can lead to complete denial of service. Now basically, let's say in my company, I'm using 10 Mbps of data or 50 Mbps of internet in my company. Now what hacker will do? Hacker will use zombies, attacker will use bots, control those bots, use the internet bandwidth to hack or to attack a particular resource. At the end of the day, the bandwidth will be consumed by the hacker people, or you can say the entire bandwidth will be taken by zombies, bots and the attacker. But when the legitimate customer will try to access the resource using that bandwidth, that will be very slow and the data will not be accessible to the customer. Last but not the least, that is application attacks. Application layer data messages can deplete resource in an application layer, leaving the target system service unavailable. Now basically, application level attacks are also called as layer 7 attacks. In this kind of an attack, what we generally do, the hacker attacks the layer 7, the application layer directly, and make sure the resource is not accessible by the users and they will not be able to use that particular website or particular resource directly. So what you are achieving or what hacker is achieving at the end, they are achieving lack of availability. That's it. This is what in single line you have to understand, that DOS and DDoS both aims to make sure that availability factor goes down. The people will not be able to access, or legitimate people will not be able to access resources which are available on internet, and because of that there will be loss or disruption in business. I hope this is now clear. What is the difference between DOS and DDoS? Just to make sure we have a good understanding, let's refer to this image. What exactly DDoS is? That there is an attacker. It is controlling 3 machines, 3 botnets, and using these 3 botnets, they are attacking or they are targeting one single machine. So it is a powerful attack, distributed attack. All right, let's discuss few DDoS or DOS techniques. The first type of attack is called as volumetric attack. Now, as the name suggests, volumetric means a lot of amount of volume is involved. So volumetric attack is a DOS attack performed by sending a large amount of traffic towards the target. Volumetric attack are focused on overloading the bandwidth consumption capability. So basically, it's same like traffic basically. So what exactly we do, or what hacker do in this kind of a technique? In this kind of a DOS attack or DDoS attack, a large amount of traffic is sent towards the target in huge volume, and because of that the availability factor goes down. The service or the resource will not be available because of traffic which is not being able to handled by the resource because it is in huge volume. Now there are different type of attacks involved in volumetric. First is UDP flood attack. Second is ICMP flood attack. Third is ping of death, and fourth is Smurf attack. Now let's discuss UDP attack or UDP flood attack in volumetric. So basically when we talk about UDP flood is a type of DOS attack in which a large number of user datagram packets are sent to the target server with the aim of overwhelming that device ability to process and respond. Now let's say there is one person standing at the reception. Now that person is there to help you and to answer your queries basically. So what a person will do, a person will walks to the receptionist. He or she will say that please tell me the way to the boss cabin, or please tell me the way to this particular person's cabin. What that receptionist will reply that okay sir, go straight and take left, and there is the cabin with the number 402, let's say. Now let's say there is one receptionist and there are 1000 people standing with their queries, or 1000 queries you will push towards the receptionist. What will happen in this case? Obviously one receptionist will not be able to reply to all at that particular moment, and the speed of reply will be very less. Because of that, the resources or the resource will not be accessible, or he or she will not be able to give reply on a proper time. Same thing happened with the server. So whenever the attacker sends UDP flood lot of requests to the server will not be able to process and respond to each and every query. You can refer this image. There is an attacker using a bot. It is sending UDP packets to the target, and at the end of the day, target is not able to perfectly reply to each and every packet, and it is taking a lot of time. Next, a different type of DOS technique is called as ping of death. It is very famous. A ping of death attack is a DOS attack in which the attacker aims to disrupt a target machine by sending a packet larger than the maximum allowable size, causing the target machine to freeze or crash. Now, what exactly it means? If you check the image below this description, there is an attacker. Attacker is sending a malicious packet larger than 110,000 bytes to the victim machine. But generally, what is a normal IP size? You can check below. That is 65,538 bytes, almost double the size of a normal IP packet. So when the attacker will send this much amount of packet to the target machine, it will cause ping of death. Now what ping of death will do? Your machine or the target machine will crash because of high amount of data packet. Next, a different type of DOS technique now, that is called as DOS fragmentation attack. Now when we talk about DOS fragmentation attack, it says that it destroys victims' ability to reassemble the fragmented packets. Now what do you mean by fragmentation? Fragmentation generally means making chunks of large amount of a packet. So let's say if you have a large amount of a packet or a normal packet, fragmentation will make fragments of that particular packet. It will be converted into a small packet. So in fragmentation attack, it destroys a victim's ability to reassemble the fragmented packets by flooding it with TCP and UDP fragments. It results in reducing performance. This is what the hacker achieves. So what exactly we are doing in this case? We are sending large amount of fragmented packets, which is TCP or UDP fragments, and it results in reduced performance. Why reduced performance? Because this system, the receiver system, will not be able to reassemble these packets in one go, which makes a lot of delay. And because of that, the performance goes down. This is what you mean by DOS fragmentation attack. Now there are two types of fragmentation attacks basically. First is UDP and ICMP, and second is TCP fragmentation attack. This is also a very powerful attack which actually bypass the firewalls also. So in this, if the hacker is using this technique, the chances are very high that you will even bypass the firewall. Next different type of attack is called as application attack. In application level attack, It is a DDoS attack and are designed to attack the application itself, focusing on specific vulnerabilities or issues, resulting in the application not being able to deliver the content to the user. Now let's take an example, a real life example. Let's say I'm using a website and I want to log in that website. So let's say there is a URL www.abc.com/login.php. Now when I will access this complete URL, login.php URL, I'll get what I'm supposed to get. I'm supposed to get a proper login form where I can add my user ID, my password, and I press login button and I'll get into the application. But what your hacker will do in this case, hacker will attack the application or layer 7, that is application layer. What or how he or she will attack? He or she will exactly send a lot of traffic towards that website with a fake request. At the end, when the legitimate user wants to log in that website, that login page will not appear and it will give you the error message that this resource is not available. I hope you have seen that messages in real life also. When you log in or when there is a DOS attack, some websites don't work. They give you the error that this resource is not available at the moment. This is how application level attacks are done. They directly attack on the application so that you will not get or you cannot post data on server or you cannot access the website. There are some examples, like there is one example of application level attack that is called as HTTP flood attack. Now let's understand about what is an HTTP flood attack. HTTP flood attack is a type of volumetric DDoS attack designed to overwhelm a target server with HTTP request. Now, let me just give you a background, and I hope few of you or many of you may know about this HTTP technique already. So let's discuss that in brief, what exactly HTTP is. HTTP is a protocol we all know that whenever you want to request something or whenever you want to get the response back from the server, we have to use HTTP protocol in order to communicate. So whenever the client requests from the server will give back the HTTP response. So request will go in HTTP request format, response will come in HTTP response format. Another thing, there are two methods in HTTP that works. First is get method and second is post method. When we talk about get method, get means, as the name suggests, I want to get the data. Please give me the data. So at the end, whenever you write www.abc.com and you press enter on browser, you are requesting the data. HTTP get method will be called automatically. Another example, whenever you download anything from the server, you are actually getting that data from the server, and that is also an HTTP get request. Now, whenever you want to post the data means, let's say I'm filling a login form or I'm writing a data in registration form basically. So when you fill a registration form and you press submit button or register button, all your data goes to the server. Whenever that data goes to the server end, we call it as a post request, that you are posting data. So similarly, whenever you put or whenever you send large amount of HTTP get or large amount of HTTP post request, that is what we call as HTTP flood attack. Same thing we have written here, that HTTP get attack is an attack where multiple computers or other devices are coordinated to send multiple requests for images, files, or some other assets from a targeted server. HTTP post attack, typically when a form is submitted on a website, the server must handle the incoming request and push data into persistent layer, most often database. Next we have is botnets. So when we were discussing DDoS, I told you that there is a topic botnet in later slides. So now it is there in front of us. So now let's talk about what exactly botnets are. The word botnet is a combination of two words. First is robot and second is network. Cyber criminal who performs the role of bot master uses Trojan virus to breach the security of several computers and connect them into a network for malicious purpose. Now what exactly it means? Whenever there is a cyber criminal who wants to perform a role of a bot master means a person who control bots. Bot means robots. So there is a master computer through which your hacker actually perform this kind of an activity. So from master computer, your hacker will control a lot of bots, lot of compromised machines, and using all those compromised machines, they will attack a target. You can refer this image for a better clarity. Let's say there is an attacker. Attacker attacks the victim and victim attacks the zombies. So at the end, all these machines are compromised machines. Now attacker will command the zombies and they will attack the target. And target, on the target, you have a very large amount of traffic towards the target, and your victim, or you can say your target, will go down in a very short span of time because the attack was on a very high level, because a lot of systems were involved. This is what botnet means. So botnet means a robot on a network. All right. So when we talk about DDoS attacks, there are many powerful tools available. There are examples given. Let's say HOIC, HOIC. We have LOIC, Xeris, Tsunami, and many more. So these are frequently used tools, and they are used to perform DDoS and DOS kind of an attacks. So I have given one example of LOIC. You can see the image. You can refer this image. LOIC means low orbit ion cannon. Now this is kind of a tool in which you will write the URL, you will write the IP of that URL, and whenever you will press charging this button, automatically the attack will start on this selected IP address. This IP address will come from this text box. Now this IP address of this website, this IP address is of this website, and whenever you will start the attack, here you can see how many requests has been launched and how many failed, how many downloaded, whatever the status is. So this is one example of a DOS attack tool that is available. So I hope you now understood what do you mean by DOS and what do you mean by DDoS? What is the difference? What different type of techniques we have in order to attack any particular server or any resource available online. So let's have a quick recap what we have done in this webinar and what all topics we have covered and what exactly we have done. Just a quick recap. So we started with overview of DOS. Then we did understanding CIA model. Then we did understanding different DDoS and DOS techniques. If you remember, we have done volumetric attack, HTTP flood request, UDP flood, all these things. Then we have understanding botnet network. What do you mean by botnet? I told you it's a robot that is controlled by the hacker. Then we have various DOS and DDoS tools available. So I told you there is LOIC, HOIC, and Tsunami, Xeris. All these tools are there to perform DOS and DDoS attack. So I hope you had a great session and you have learned something new. This is what is from my end in this particular webinar, and hope you had a great learning. Thank you so much.